And we're live. Good morning, Camilla.
Good morning, Paul.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. So we met. When was this? Maybe a month ago, 3 weeks ago. We met up.
So yeah.
Yeah, and we had a talk about improving taking self-portraits and visuals and all this and the importance of them. And we just thought we'd get back together and do a little refresher course here, just a lightning round here.
Yes.
Can you tell me first? Tell me about a little about yourself and why you're interested in doing this.
Yes, I will. So as Paul said, my name is Camilla. I'm a professional photographer and I'm also a theatre maker. And I do my side of photography is brand photography and portraits. That's what I work with. And over the time, my passion for photography and theatre kind of naturally merged. So I ended up doing a lot of pictures for my theatre company in the rehearsal room, workshops, so documenting those moments.
And yes, I think I've been in lots of those photos,
yes.
actually.
So yes, in a nutshell, that's my background. But I love meeting people, and that's why I focus on portraits and brand photography. I like a good chat.
Don't we all? Great. So thank you for the introduction there. And why is this important? So we've contacted you because we love what you do, but why do you think this is important to really promote people's images and portraits and that sort of thing?
Amazing. Maybe can I share my screen and maybe?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, there's some support material for us. So let me just share the screen. Here we go.
Great.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yep.
I know. I got inspired after all. So yeah. Sorry. My voice is going. So why it matters? I know that we connect with people. People connect to people, and it's that relatability. It's about familiarity and trust. So I know a lot of people don't like having their portrait taken, but it is the connection to you and your work, and it helps to build that trust. And then there's several tools you can have to help you with that. And I'm sure a lot of people might have heard of why, to connect to why you do what you do. Your why, it has many benefits, but it also in this setup, it helps to improve communications because I know who I'm speaking to. I have an idea of that person. So it helps to establish that connection and also your perspective a little bit, because we connect very much with images. So it helps to build that trust. And hiding really is not going to help your business in any way.
Yeah. And we did a similar event with our profile texts last week with Kyle, and we talked about the same thing. And it's about it's great for us for DELT to have your lovely images out there to share a little bit about who you are, but it's also great for you to promote your work and what you do, and so people can find out how to get in touch with you and maybe get an idea of who you are and what kind of work you do through your portrait and through your images. And I think you can really express that. And Camilla, we'll get into that in a little bit, how you can express yourself through your images.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so if you don't have access to a professional photographer, you're not really sure what to do. What's the basics here? How do you get started?
Yes. So it's great to have a professional portrait taken by a photographer. Some people feel very uncomfortable. Some people don't have the resources at the moment, or because it's time. Sometimes even it's like someone contact you and it's like a last minute, can I have an updated? And you kind of remember that your portrait is 10 years old and you won't cut anymore. It happens to all of us, I think. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you need a phone, which most people will have, and to be honest, the cameras nowadays are really, really good on most mobile phones. Mm-hmm. And ideally a tripod. But if you don't have a tripod or one of those, I don't know, they call monkey tripods, like small ones as well. They kind of attach to things. But you can also, if you don't have a tripod, you don't have to go out and buy one. You can use a bookshelf or somewhere where you can place your phone at the right height. So even masking tape will do. You can mask tape your phone somewhere, and and just be creative.
And just don't cover the camera.
That's might help.
Great. Okay. So we've got a phone, we've got it set up, ready to go. What next? What do we need to look at next?
Well, I think that what makes photography is light. Light is a huge part of photography. Is how it captures light, and light is your best friend. Natural light, especially, is more flattering to the skin, especially if it's coming from a window, or if it's a diffused sunlight, because you don't want also like harsh sunlight. It really, really makes the picture much, much better. So if you have your phone and your tripod or your bookshelf, find a window if you're doing it at home, and try not to have shadows, like an even light. That is not, if you have sunshine coming through directly, and that might cause a lot of shadows. If you have a white walls are great to bounce off light as well, so you can use that as well. And,
so I guess now is probably a good time to do it. Like late morning is probably a good time to do it. Don't do it in the evening when it's getting dark. Or
and there's like the soft light, which they call is like morning, early morning and early evening. So avoid that kind of middle section of the day when it's harsher. Although we are in the UK, it's not that bad. Now during the summer it can be a bit, but morning light are softer, nicer, warmer as well. It's kind of to the skin, and again, because it looks more diffused, it's softer, so it helps. And then if you have to do it with artificial light, sorry, the word was gone. If you have to do it with artificial light, just avoid any over your head, any light over your head.
Shadows.
Again, shadows, or if it's under. So again, is try to place it as much as your height as possible. Yeah.
Okay, great. Those are some good. Those are ones. That is one thing I do struggle with a little bit. So thank you for sharing that. And then this is one that we always we've had a few sessions where we've been given instructions on, and people have different ideas of what they should have in the background. Right now, it looks like I've actually got a plant growing out of my ear. So we were going to talk about background. What do you have in your background?
Yes. The background. My suggestion, and especially if people are not photographers or are not into photography, or less experienced, is like keep it simple. Neutral and uncluttered backgrounds normally work best. So if you are at home, you can use, like, if you have a wall that is empty, or if not, some people sometimes can use like a sheet, hang a sheet as well, as long as it's not creased and everything. But can use that. If you don't have a plain background, that's okay. And sometimes it's nice to have a bit of depth and all that. But really watch out for distractions, like you were saying. Is there a plant that comes out of your head that looks really weird? Or, or a bookshelf that there's something that is really your eye, distracts your eye from you. But it's
Can I ask one more thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to ask. Sorry. We have some people like taking pictures with their pets or things like that. Do you have any strong feelings on that, or is that just a personal preference?
I think, depends the situation, depends what you're using. If it's for your social media, I think is brilliant. Children and pets draw a lot of attention. You might not become the center of your image, but in this particular case, you want the attention drawn to you.
Okay.
So not for a professional portrait. No, I think for social media, it's great for people to share, and we can get into that maybe later if there's time.
Okay, great. Thanks for chiming in on that there. Okay, what's next, Camilla? What have you got next for us? I love that picture, by the way. That's a great picture of William.
Yeah. And again, it's a simple background. This was an outdoor space, and there's a bit of texture. It's not too distracting. So Then I have sorry, positioning and framing. So you got all set, you got your phone, you got the light right. How do you frame it? And with a portrait, sorry, I have to have some water actually. With portraits, chest, it's nice to get a bit of chest or shoulders a little bit, so it's not just a floating head. It can look really awkward, and with that kind of comes in, some people might have heard of it, the rule of thirds, which is where you place your subject's eye, on the intersection points of the grid. A lot of phones actually can. There's an option that to show you the grid that can help you, and that obviously is not going to be on the picture when when you got the picture, but it helps you to position yourself.
Yeah.
So, and then when positioning, remember to keep the lens at your eye level, so you're not, we all used to mobiles and grabbing the mobile like that, and it slims down if you kind of hold it up. But that also can create slightly odd head shapes. And my advice will be play, have fun, experiment. And but yeah, ideally keep your camera, the lens at your eye level, and then play with that with a little bit of angles. And then it's just, be comfortable to avoid to kind of position yourself straight on the camera. Give it a little bit of angles. Photography really likes angles. So position. And some people play with it. It's like, oh, my left angle is better than my right. And have fun. And then if you choose to be sitting down, that's sometimes makes people feel a little bit more relaxed. It's great. Just try not to slouch, because it's those things we normally don't notice. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, and these are really great things. Is if you are using your phone, then you can play around and experiment a little bit, so you can try more than one shot.
Exactly.
So that's the great thing about that. Yeah.
And that's another thing, because don't be disheartened. It's like you take 3 pictures. It's like, oh, they're all horrible. It's probably going to be around 20 before you get a good one. So that's okay. Don't be discouraged. And the more you do it, the more you get the hang of your phone, and the more you get the hang of what do you like. It also helps people to think, oh, there's a photography of me that I really like, an old picture. What do you like about that? Try to reproduce it.
Yeah.
Or if there's something I don't like, there's a picture I don't really like, so avoid those. Identify and avoid. Yeah.
Okay. I noticed in this photo, there's very casual dress, very informally. William in the previous one had his winter coat on and was, what should you be wearing in that? Should you be dressed up in your best Sunday clothes or whatever you say, or?
Yeah, there's a bit of an idea, isn't it? Oh, I'm going to take a picture. I wonder if this comes from old, when photography was not so accessible. And you only literally had a shot at it. Nowadays, it's so much easier. And no, I would not advise people to wear something they normally don't wear. So my advice is always, what is your favorite piece of clothing? Wear that one. The one that it really, you feel well in it, you're confident, is really comfy, maybe is a little bit old already on the sleeve, doesn't matter. But it's comfortable, you feel well in it. Oh, it's me. Wear that one. Because all those things, our discomfort or our confidence will come through the lens. So being comfortable works really, it's already like a huge step for success. And then as a general rule, I say to people to use solid colors. Patterns can be quite distracting, and sometimes also, depending on the camera lens and on the light, they can look a little bit like, weird. So yeah, all logos as well, because again, the focus is on you, so we don't want to be looking at the logo or the brand or whatever. So yeah, solid colors and plain. Normally, I would say avoid white or black. we have a height here, unless you are, because it's only because if you're not in full control of lighting, that can sometimes not have the best results. Only for that reason. Obviously, if you work with a professional photographer that can tackle those things, then, or if you have enough knowledge about light, then fabulous, go for it. Then accessories also, earrings, necklaces, scarves. In photography, less is more. And that goes for accessories, but also like makeup. So tone it down if you can a little bit, because otherwise it can become easily overwhelming and again distract. Instead, I'm looking at you, oh, that's a nice, very nice necklace, but not looking at the person at all. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's some really good ones. And I was also, I didn't know white was a really can be a difficult color to work with. So that was some good tips there. Thank you. Okay, so we've got we're in the frame there. We've got our light, our background, our clothes set up. Now what? Are we ready to take the picture?
Yeah, we are, hopefully. I think when you decide, if you have that time, if it's not like a last minute that you have to rush, if you're planning to do it yourself, I think mindset, it's a really, and mindset and mood in that case is really, really important, because again, lenses are really good at capturing your state. So it could help, and I always advise people, if you can, do something fun, do something you enjoy. Maybe you go for a swim or a walk in the park, or something that is enjoyable and gives you that sense of peace and relaxation, or maybe it's just having that special coffee, from the coffee shop downstairs that's really good and it's like a treat, something like that, that just gives your mood a little boost. And then I think it also helps visualize, and that goes what we were saying earlier, visualize the picture you want to have. How would you like your picture to be? And if there's an image you can refer to either of yourself or online, it's like, how could I reproduce that? I'm not that person, but what do I like? Again, it's about identifying what do you like about the picture. Maybe it's the lighting, maybe it's the position or the angle, or, maybe it's because the person is smiling, and try to kind of visualize the image you want and then just play with it. Yeah.
Great. Can I ask you like a slightly detour question here?
Yeah.
But I've seen people I've seen some brilliant pictures of people, but they didn't really like them themselves. Like I thought they were just really captured the essence of these people. Is it good to maybe ask a friend which one? Like if you have a series of pictures, ask them which one they like best, or do you think is it if you're putting yourself out there, you just have to go with what you're most comfortable with?
Yes. Obviously, you are more likely to share a picture you're happy with than the one you're not. We are very critical of ourselves, whether it's our image, our voice. Some people also have that reaction when they hear their voice recorded. We are not used to. So, and that's okay. I think it's great to ask for other people's opinions and go, so I don't know, 3 or 4 people really prefer, if you have 2 pictures that you kind of, this one or this one, or, and listen to what people, why they like it. If you really dislike the image, don't use it just for the sake of others. If there's nothing in the moment, maybe use that one because it's not no one thinks it's horrible. It's also how other people perceive you. It will be very different how you perceive yourselves. And if you have a majority of people telling you that it's a great picture, really captures your essence, even if you decide to, yes, I would like to have another one that is better, that's okay. But maybe trust, because that's what your clients potentially going to see in you.
And this came up last time as well. It's good to have more than one photo, more than one image you can use as well.
Absolutely.
It's about getting them updated from time to time, but also like if you are sharing your image a lot in different medias, you might want to have a few different ones to use, and even in different professional situations. So yeah, exactly. Like this image here, I think that's a brilliant image. I really love it. I'm not sure I would want an image of me in that particular frozen moment there, but I think it's absolutely beautiful, and yeah, so exactly. That was why I was thinking about it.
Yeah, and this image can, again, probably this image won't be used for like okay, I'm going to speak at a conference type of thing, or depending on the theme of the conference, maybe it is. but
Yeah.
but but then maybe it is an image that I can use to share on my socials, or if I'm sharing something that is really vibrant and fun, and I want people to kind of, that's the essence that I want, then it's a great picture to reflect that. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got our lighting, background, clothes. We're ready. We've got we're in the right mood to be taken. So I think we've got our picture taken by now. What do we need to do once we've got our picture taken?
Well, with the picture also, and on that same, which goes kind of, it overlaps when you're thinking about it, is thinking about the edits and the formats and sizes and all that. Obviously, a portrait picture is a portrait. That's why it's called a portrait and not a landscape.
Mm-hmm.
So you can choose to, when you're taking your picture, to take it as a portrait. And some phones actually might be worth mentioning. They do have like a portrait mode that does blur the background, but just play with it. Some can be okay. Some I find a little bit too much. Okay. It looks too photoshopped. It looks too personally. But that's, again, investigate. But you can also choose to take your picture as a landscape. That can then be cropped to a portrait, and then that will give you options. Let's say if you have a bigger picture, like a banner on your website that you want to use to have your image, or there's a conference or this or that it needs that format, then you have it, and you can always then crop it to use it as a portrait. As well. And then, especially with iPhones, for instance, check your format of your image, because iPhones tend to take pictures on HEIC format, but you can actually go in and change for it to be JPEG by default. Those are normally the most used formats, and so check those things, and check your background. So no post editing. Again, I rather, if there's something on the background, I don't want to be there. There are tools for getting rid of stuff in the background in post editing. But if I can actually move the plant, is much better.
Yeah.
So
we've heard of certain royals trying to post edit their photos and it not turning out very well. So you might think you're doing a great job, but
exactly.
So
yeah, I'm also I'm always a big fan of, like I used to say, I Photoshop on site. I move stuff around or move my subject, so I don't have to do it afterwards.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think, that's that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned the two types of images, and actually on the DELT website, we've added there's a secondary image you can have on there. So as well as your headshot, which is the sort of the vertical one, we also have a landscape image which goes across there. Exactly. And maybe you can talk about maybe what kind of things people might think about putting in there, and why would this be important to have?
So the choosing your banner image, and I saw on the DELT website you have the translators portrait image round, which is a really round cut, and then there's a banner, and that banner can help because it's bigger. It helps you set you apart from your fellow translators. So it can be quite catchy. My suggestion would be always return to your why. That we talked in the beginning, because that's what's unique to you. So you all translate from Danish, that's great, but each of you will have a different why, and that's what's going to come out. And think about, okay, what image should I put there? What could complement your portrait? What sets you apart? And maybe it's choosing an image that reflects your world or your work, or your mood, like that picture, the smiley picture. Obviously there, I wouldn't advise that in that case, because then you will have two faces as such, and that can become quite overwhelming. But think about what people might want to know about you, or what might help them to know you a little bit more. Is it potentially something about the genre you translate from, something more moody, crime, or is it, I don't know, theater, or
children's books.
Children's books,
Yeah,
exactly. Or your personality. Maybe, you're a very active person, so you want a more active image, or, could be also where you're based, or potentially where the publisher's location, that, where you normally work, So those things will help you to kind of differentiate you from your fellow translators, I guess. Like in this case, I chose an image. Let's say I am a translator. For me, it's really important that people connect to my homeland. And this is a picture of São Paulo. So I chose that. Let's say that will be important for me. So therefore, yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about that. That's great. Yeah, and I've seen some really good examples on the website of people who have uploaded some really great regional photos of like a picture of Vancouver, for example.
Exactly.
So giving that geography can be really good for if there's publishers in Canada looking for a Canadian Danish to English translator, then that might be a good way of setting yourself apart.
Absolutely. And also if you're a person, if you talk a lot in conferences and things like that, it could be a picture of a conference. So people associate, oh, this is a person who's like a public speaker who does this type of things, for instance, if this is something you do regularly. I've seen yours, Paul, and again, there's a picture of you in action, which, shows really, or for me personally, helps me connect to your side of like theater and something that is more active. It's less passive. This is someone hands-on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm out there in the world and doing stuff and open for doing talks and workshops and all those things. Yeah, great. Okay, those are really good things. Do we have anything else we need to talk about on the banner thing? I think that kind of covers it quite nicely. We had some really good examples. Have a look on the DELT website and see what other people have done. We'll share some details in print as well, so you can get an idea of like what sizes you need to use for your image, and that sort of thing, and how to log into the DELT website and the practical things there. But I think we're just about covered all of the everything here. Camilla, is there any last thing you'd like to add there?
No, I think we covered everything. I think 3 extra like top tips very quickly.
Great.
I would say that practice makes progress.
Okay.
So keep doing it. And then remember to breathe when you're taking a picture.
Yes.
Very, very important. And have fun. I think those will be my 3 kind of top tips not to forget. Yeah.
Great, those are really good. This is why and then your last one there. This is why I love to get you to take my photos, Camilla, because I'm not very good at having fun when I'm taking my own photo or relaxing, and you're very good at setting people at ease and making them feel comfortable. So I should say also, if you do have access, if you are able to get a professional photographer and you happen to be somewhere around London, or you want to fly Camilla in to wherever you are in the world, Camilla, where can people get in touch with you if they'd like to get some
absolutely
professional photos done? What's your website? Do you have that? Do you remember what that is offhand?
I'm terrible, I know, but it's a Camilla Frank Photography.
Camilla Frank Photography. You can find that everywhere. Yeah.
But I can also, I don't know if it's I could share also my website, but I could also share, like I forgot to mention, but people can look out. There are a lot of apps that you can use to take your self-portrait. So you don't have to hold your phone with your hand, which I would not recommend. Again, it puts you in an awkward angle. But there are some brilliant ones there that, takes like 3-4 pictures in a row, so you can just play around, and it does a little noise, and it makes you laugh, and that might be a good thing. Like
the old photo booths that we love to have. Okay, great. We'll include some of those in the when we send out the information to people. But
amazing.
Camilla,
I can share that with you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming today, and thank you for sharing all these amazing tips. And we look forward to seeing everyone's beautiful photos on the website soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Paul, for having me.
All right.
And
bye.
Next time. Bye.